Nova was not like the other star fairies. While they danced across the cosmic sky, weaving silver trails through the vast darkness, she was captivated by the world below. A world of towering mountains, endless forests, and shimmering oceans, so different from the celestial realms she called home. But what fascinated her most was not the earth itself, but a single human who gazed at the heavens with wonder in his eyes. Orion. He lived in a small cottage on the edge of a quiet village, where he spent his nights beneath the open sky, mapping constellations, charting planetary movements, and whispering his dreams to the stars. He had no family, no close friends, only the night sky to keep him company. And it was through his telescope that Nova first saw him, his eyes filled with longing for the mysteries above. One fateful night, when the celestial alignment was perfect, Nova took the risk. She descended from the stars, her golden wings shimmering like molten light, and landed on the grassy hill where Orion often sat. He was there, as always, his telescope pointed toward the constellations. "Orion," she whispered. Startled, he turned. His breath caught in his throat as he saw her, a radiant being, her hair woven from the night sky, her eyes reflecting the constellations above. She was unlike anything he had ever seen, more beautiful than the galaxies he had spent his life studying. "Who are you?" he asked, barely able to find his voice. "I am Nova," she said, smiling gently. "A star fairy. I have watched you for a long time." He should have been afraid, but he wasn't. There was something familiar about her, as if he had known her forever. They spoke for hours under the moonlight, sharing stories of their worlds. Nova told him of the star realm, where fairies danced upon the cosmos, and he told her of Earth's seasons, of the scent of rain, of the beauty of dawn. As the night deepened, a sorrowful look crossed her face. "I cannot stay," she admitted. "I am bound to the stars. I was only able to come because tonight, the heavens aligned perfectly." "Then come again," Orion pleaded. "Please." She hesitated, then nodded. "I promise. Once a year, when the stars align, I will return to you." With a wistful smile, she faded into stardust, ascending back to the sky. Orion remained on the hill, staring after her, his heart forever changed. From that night on, his life had a new purpose. He lived for the single night each year when Nova would return. He marked the days carefully, waiting with endless patience. And each year, when the alignment was right, she came back. They talked, laughed, and learned more about each other's worlds. Over the years, their bond grew deeper. Nova had never known love, but with Orion, she felt something she couldn't explain. A pull stronger than gravity, a warmth deeper than starlight. Orion, too, realized that nothing on Earth compared to the joy he felt in Nova's presence. But the years passed, and something neither of them could stop began to change. Orion was aging. His hair turned silver, his hands grew weaker, yet he never failed to climb the hill on the appointed night. Nova, untouched by time, remained as radiant as ever. But in her heart, she feared the inevitable. One year, as she prepared to leave, Orion took her hand. "There will come a time," he said softly, "when I won't be able to meet you here." She shook her head, unwilling to accept it. "No, I will always find you." He smiled, but there was sadness in his eyes. "Promise me something, anything. When I can no longer be here, don't forget me." Tears glistened in her celestial eyes. "Never." That was the last time they spoke. The following year, Nova descended once more, her heart racing as she arrived at the hilltop. But something was wrong. Orion wasn't there. Her gaze searched the darkness, expecting to see him trudging up the hill, a little slower but still carrying his telescope, his face lighting up when he saw her. But there was nothing, just silence. For the first time in centuries, fear crept into her heart. She searched the village below, her golden light flickering against the rooftops. His cottage was dark, no candle burned in the window. The telescope, once carefully positioned outside, was gone. Panic seized her. She searched through the village, invisible to human eyes, scanning each street and home. And then, she found it. A graveyard. Her breath caught as she floated forward, her hands trembling as she reached a single stone. The name carved upon it made her vision blur with unshed tears. Orion Everwood, beloved astronomer, a dreamer of the stars. She fell to her knees, the realization crashing over her like a tidal wave. He was gone. The man who had waited for her, year after year, who had loved the stars because he had loved her, was gone. Nova had known time worked differently for humans, but she had always pushed the thought away. She had foolishly believed he would always be there, waiting on the hill. She pressed a trembling hand to the stone, feeling the coldness of it. I came back, she whispered, her voice breaking. I came back, Orion, just like I promised. But he was not there to hear her. Tears, something rare for a star fairy, fell like drops of stardust onto the grave. A single, golden spark flickered from her fingertips and into the earth, planting itself like a seed. The moment it touched the soil, something miraculous happened. A flower bloomed, not an ordinary flower, but one woven from starlight, its petals glowing softly in the night. A final gift, a piece of her world in his. Nova stood, her heart heavy. She turned her gaze skyward. I will never forget you, she vowed. Then, as the first rays of dawn crept over the horizon, she ascended back into the heavens. That night, as the stars shone above the village, one star glowed brighter than all the rest. And if anyone had looked closely, they would have seen something incredible. Two stars, side by side, one old and one new, shining together forever.